Romans 13:1-4. Let every person be subject to the governing authority, for there is no authority except from God, and those that have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear for the one who is in authority? Then do what is good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is a servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Our generation is selfish. We take things into our own hands instead of following what James 2 says to do during times of trouble. Pray for wisdom. God gave us laws to follow because he loves us and wants us to be able to live freely. We are supposed to be obedient to him. The first question of the Westminster Confession of Faith. What is the chief end of man? To glorify God and enjoy him forever. We are created to love God and obey him no matter what. Getting involved is a lack of faith and trust, not believing or thinking his plan is right. And even a plan of suffering can be a plan and gift of redemption. Like when Jesus told the disciples how he was going to die, Peter took him aside and rebuked him. And you know what Jesus said to him? Get behind me, Satan. Peter was being civil disobedient, and later that civil disobedience turned to violence. In John 18, Peter cut off a man's ear when Jesus was about to be arrested. That was violence, and Jesus again had to tell him, no, that's wrong. So the code team offers a couple arguments. First of all, it will defy the government if the Bible contradicts it. They use Gandhi's salt march as an example. But even Gandhi agrees prayer is the key of the morning and bolt of the evening. Prayer includes everything. Philippians 4:6 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Jesus will take care of us. But the difference Gandhi had from us was that his gods were false and give false hope. So that's why he had to resort to civil disobedience. Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and Ruby Bridges. Their lives might not have been fair. But is life fair? Was it fair for Jesus to become human? Was it fair for the Savior of the world to be beaten and crucified, only to endure what was considered the worst death? No, it wasn't. In that light of things that are fair to us today are nothing. You use St. Augustine of Hippo, but here's another quote for him. If you believe what you like in the gospel and reject what you don't like, it's not the gospel you believe but yourself. You are becoming your own God by picking and choosing which laws you want to follow. We saw what happened to Herod. He started picking and choosing what laws he wanted to follow. He decided to crucify all the babies who were Christians. All the Christians. And God had him turned into worms. He was dead because he tried to become his own God. And he used Jesus healing and taking brains on the Sabbath. But think about it. Doesn't it sound weird for Jesus to be using civil disobedience? And it does sound weird, because Jesus wasn't arrested. And if he wasn't arrested, he couldn't have been breaking the laws. After all, the Pharisees were trying to find any reason at all to arrest him. So why wouldn't they have jumped at this chance? This is in Mark 2. Jesus read to them the real law, and they realized they were in the wrong. Jesus was in the right. Also, you said, this is a quote, if there's any unjust law, we should address it instead of waiting, suffering. But that just adds up to you not trusting God. If you don't trust God, sin really starts with doubt. You start doubting that God will provide for your physical needs, so you steal. You think that God isn't enough, so you worship other gods, etc. Okay, thank you.